Hi, sweetie pie. Well, another book. I think this makes number 11 for today. Um, I'm sitting in this chair sharing it with Gabby. Um, and so here's the book. It's called Groundhog Stays Up Late. And let me get these things off of the screen. Okay. Groundhog Stays Up Late by Marjorie Coiler, illustrated by Jean Cassels. Lovely picture. Groundhog wearing a red scarf and a bee and a flower. It's hard to see because of the glare. Let me turn the page, and usually it's easier inside. This is lovely. Oh, look at this. This is fun. And look at the back cover. Snowy, beautiful. Oh, this is pretty. Look at this. That's nice. Buttercups. Those are called buttercups. And do you know buttercups are not good to eat? They're poisonous. Oh, this is even fun too. Look at this. Squirrels, acorns, mushrooms, leaves, groundhog, playing marbles. Ooh, we are going to play some serious marbles. I was a marble champ. I was so good at marbles. We used to, if you would win them, and you win them, you kept them. And I was so good, and my friend Alan was so good, that we were winning a lot. So many that the teacher said we weren't allowed to play for marbles. We just played for fun. But we used to swap them at home when we got home because he lived up the street. I saw my marbles the other day. I still have them. Oh, we are going to play marbles. They are so cool. But we'll wait till you're just a little bit older. Okay. Anyway, there's marbles. Oh, and there's so many beautiful ones. I love marbles. Groundhog was not the kind of groundhog who liked to hibernate. To him, making a winter burrow was boring. Gathering and storing food was boring. And most of all, sleeping all winter long was boring. Instead of preparing for winter, he liked to play hide and seek with the rabbits. Okay, now I'm liking this book. We read a few today that I did not like. Now this one is a willing suspension of disbelief. The earlier ones today, the chicken that kept getting huge, the fox that got stuck in the thing, the chicken that ate the fox, no willing suspension of disbelief there. Plus, it was a bit cruel. But this one, yeah, I'm fine with that. This guy staying up late playing with the rabbits. Willing suspension of disbelief. That's something that they talk about in literature when the reader will go with you into the fantastical if it's realistic, if there's other reasons that make the reader want to go along. When you lose that, the reader's like, oh, yeah, right. Anyway, back to the story. Instead of preparing for winter, he liked to play hide and seek with the rabbits, possum with the opossums, which is really pronounced possums, even though it's spelled with an O. That's a possum. And he's playing possum, which is a way of playing like you're not alive. And tag with the bumblebees. Oh, he's a brave guy. I don't play tag with the bumblebees. Why do you even bother to hibernate? Chattered Squirrel. You're never ready when winter comes. You should be looking for nuts and seeds right now. I don't think I'll hibernate this year, said Groundhog. But you have to, said Badger. How else will you wake up on February 2nd? Oh, don't tell me we're perpetuating this nonsense. You know, you could tell a story about a groundhog without talking about that ridiculous Groundhog Day. I guess I should read the words on the page, not the words that are in my commentary. But you have to, said Badger. How else will you wake up on February 2nd and look at your shadows so we'll know when spring is coming? I might just reread this with my own words. Okay, let's keep going. Beautiful pictures. Bear. That must be the badger. Possum. I don't need to hibernate to do that. I wish he said I need to hibernate, but I don't need to do that. Bear shook his shaggy head. Well, don't expect us to give you shelter when it snows. These are some good drawings, even the ones along the bottom. Or food when you get hungry, said Squirrel. Or warmth when you get cold, said Badger. Finally, winter came. Groundhog's friends curled up in their homes for their long winter naps. But not Groundhog. He stayed outside. Soon it began to snow. Wow, snow! Yelled Groundhog. Time to play! I love the way they have the border above or below. It's so pretty. Hare ran by. Hare, hare, is another word for rabbit. Want to make a snowman? Asked Groundhog. No, silly, said Hare. I'm racing to my woodpile until the storm's over. Weasel ran by. Want to have a snowball fight? Asked Groundhog. Forget it, said Weasel. I'm scampering to my hole where it's warm. Fox ran by. Want to build a snow fort? Asked Groundhog. Not now, said Fox. I'm running to my den to get dry. What a bunch of stick-in-the-muds, said Groundhog. I use that expression. I guess that comes as no surprise. As the weeks passed, Groundhog built a snowman, threw snowballs at the trees, and made a snow fort. I love these drawings. I don't know why, I just love them. But Groundhog was getting very hungry and very thin, which was making him very cold. And most of all, he was getting very lonely. So one day, just before Christmas, he padded over to Badger's burrow. May I come in? He called. Badger opened one eye. No, I'm too busy sleeping. Zzz. Don't know why they use Z's as a sign that people are sleeping. I've seen a lot of sleeping people and never heard them make a Z sound. Groundhog scurried to Squirrel's hole. Hello, Squirrel, he said. How about sharing a few nuts? Squirrel twitched his tail. Not now, he said. I'm taking a nap. Come back in the spring. Our squirrels don't exactly take naps. They go to my feeder every morning before the cats come out. Groundhog finally burrowed through the snow to Bear's cave. Wake up, Bear. It's me, Groundhog, he called. Bear turned over and wriggled one ear. Go away, he growled. I warned you not to bother me. Poor Groundhog, so hungry, so cold, so lonely. All night long he stayed awake, but that night, as he shivered and shook, he began to get an idea that would put food in his belly and give him friends to play with. A few days later, the sun came out and the snow started to melt. Groundhog climbed to the top of Hollow Hill and pointed his nose to the sky. He opened his mouth and yelled, Spring's come early, let's celebrate. I have no idea what's going to happen. The animals poked their heads out of their dens. They wriggled out of their burrows. They crawled out of their holes. How wonderful to have an early spring. Even though it was cold and there were patches of snow on the ground, spring was on its way. They gathered the food they had stored in the fall and carried it outside. Groundhog was waiting for them. Happy spring, he lied. I didn't see my shadow, so spring is coming early. Let's eat. Good. So it's made the groundhog mendacious. That's nice. Very nice. This ridiculous holiday. But I do love the picture of all these animals gathering for his little springtime party in the middle of winter. Hooray, yelled Bear. Hooray, shouted the other animals. They laid all of their food on a big stump. Groundhog dove into the dried berries and nuts and seeds. Soon everyone was eating and celebrating. That is, until something unexpected started to happen. A snowflake fell from the sky, and then another and another. Soon the snow was swirling around them like tiny stars. I thought spring was coming early this year, complained Squirrel. I'm getting very cold and tired all of a sudden, moaned Bear. I need to take a nap, said Badger. Squirrel skittered back to his hole and looked at his calendar. It was only January 2nd, not February 2nd. Groundhog played a trick on us, he yelled. It's not February 2nd. Groundhog Day is a whole month away. What a nasty trick, cried the animals. Groundhog should be punished. But Groundhog didn't hear them. He was so sleepy after his big meal that he had crawled into his burrow and had fallen fast asleep. And he slept right up until February 2nd, when his eyes popped open for Groundhog Day. How convenient. He stepped out into the fresh air. The snow had melted, and the birds were singing, and buttercups dotted the woods with color. It's spring, said Groundhog. But when he looked down at the ground, he saw his shadow. It looked a little strange, and it was a funny color, but it had to be his. Nuts, he said. 6 more weeks of winter. And he returned to his burrow and went back to sleep. The other animals came out of their hiding places. Our trick worked, said Badger. That shadow we painted sure fooled Groundhog. You see them watching? And this pretend shadow? Good. So that's what we teach. While Groundhog slept through spring, his friends enjoyed the sun warming their fur and the breezes ruffling through the trees. But did Groundhog learn his lesson? No. Happy New Year on his hat. I don't understand that. Oh, I need Jenny to explain everything to me. Happy New Year. I don't get it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, my man. I love you to bits. Sleep well, sweetie pie. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.